Well, I played the role of an engineer, architect, structural engineer, mason, laborer, carpenter, painter, you name it, I've done every bit of work in the entire construction process. We thought of having a farmhouse. There was no option or a choice. We were always already decided that we wanted to go for a natural home. My journey of building a mud house started with Thannal.
This video is a part of Owners Build category in the Back Home series, where we introduce you to various owners who have built their own mud homes. This is done with the motive that people who are going to build their mud home in future can learn and experience from the stories shared in this video. Let's listen to the story of Uma Shankar, an IT professional from Bangalore who has turned into a natural builder in the journey of making his own mud home.
Well, firstly, the size of our family. We are just three of us, me, my wife Teju, and Haryan is our son. And second, that it's going to be a farmhouse. So once in a week we visit. So the need was very minimal. So we were kind of deciding on 1 BHK. But at the same time, if you go to a farm, you mostly spend outdoor rather than being an indoor, So that's why we designed it to be 1 BHK. Well, I played the role of an engineer, architect, structural engineer, mason, laborer, carpenter, painter, you name it, I've done every bit of work in the entire construction process. Actually, I have designed the foundation of this house, including interiors, exterior looks. Then I have built the wall, many walls I have built myself, planning every bit of technical requirement, vastu designing roofing structure, electrical design, and in many cases I have done odd jobs like cutting the granite, cut the roof tiles. I've lifted so many materials that is required in the construction process. So I've done every bit of activity in this entire process. That also helped me, in gaining a lot of confidence. At the same time, it helped me not to wait for a laborer. Sometimes the laborer tell that they are not going to come in the morning. Instead of giving an advance notice, they'll say, okay, they'll not come the day when they're supposed to turn up. So this becomes a big showstopper.
This is an ideal case of an owner's build in the absence of a contractor. The owner takes up the responsibility of managing the constructions.
But at the same time, we also have our extended family and friends visiting to our farm. So we wanted to have space to accommodate at least 10 to 15 people at a given point in time. So for that, I came up with the idea of attic. So when there are too many guests, then we'll use an attic for accommodating them. At the same time, because we spend a lot of time outdoor, I wanted to have a small lounge outdoor and a car parking. Every stage in the construction process has a different requirement. So when we started with the foundation, I think we only had around 3 to 4 people. During the wall construction process, it was a batch of 4 people. And then for roof carpentry work, we had 3 people. And when we had to install the tiles, we had around 6 people for 3 days or so. And then when we are doing some aesthetic looks, interiors, I generally take only one helper so that he can work with me, because mostly the interior works are very slow process and very detailing work is required. All in all, you can say around 10 to 15 people were working, but not all of them at the same time.
This is a single bedroom house with a kitchen and a living area to accommodate a small family. There is also an attic space above the bedroom to accommodate guests. The total area of the house covers around 1700 square feet with a small car parking.
Okay, let me remind you that this is a duplex house built in an extent of 1700 square feet. And also, a very interesting part about this house is that we are not going to have any furnitures, meaning all furnitures are inbuilt using cob.
The foundation of the house is done using a traditional method of filling the excavation with stones and then filling it with a layer of mud and water over it. Water takes the mud and fills the gaps, making a strong and a compact foundation. The plinth is done using stone masonry.
For mixing cob, he has mixed mud with fibers, rice husk, straw, tapioca starch, neem water. Presently, the first coat of plastering he has finished using mud and lime plaster and egg whites. He is hoping to finish the final coat using lime plaster itself.
Well, I am an IT guy basically. I work for an MNC and I'm into this profession for last 20 plus years. Easy, it's because when we thought of having a farmhouse, there was no option or a choice. We were always already decided that we wanted to go for a natural home. The reason because when I started, farming is my passion. So when I started farming almost 6-7 years back, so I was already anyway getting close to soil. So that probably gave me a lot of relationship with the soil, which I wanted to continue with everything I do in my farm. Secondly, yeah, obviously it has a lot of less carbon footprint. Third, my childhood. In my childhood, I used to visit my grandparents' house, which is built naturally, and it's been more than 100 plus years. It is still standing tall and strong. So all of things. I guess it's not just one reason, but then many factors contributed me to decide natural house.
Thannal has met Uma Shankar through a 2-day workshop held in our campus in September 2017. He has came to us to learn about how to make a mud house. With a training of just 2 days, he was able to start his journey of building a mud house. Exactly a year later, in September 2018, after completing his cob walls and when the roof work was progressing, he came again to Thannal for a 1-day plastering workshop. He came for this workshop to learn about how to plaster his walls. Later in June 2019, when master masons from Rajasthan came to Thannal to teach about lime plastering and Irish plasters, he came to learn about them. So as a designer and owner of the house, he was open to learn and acquire the skills required for building a house.
So all the technical knowledge that I gained is mostly came from Thannal. At the same time, during this construction process, I was always in touch with Sundar and Akhil. They have been very, very helpful in sharing the technical knowledge, or if I face getting to some hurdles, so giving a lot of technical information about how to solve those knowledge. So Thannal has been an integral part of this house construction. There are definitely many challenges were there, and some of it is to do with material, then the weather, and the main challenge that I had was with the people. So the labor who were engaged, some of them did not have training, so I had to train them, and some people are not very professional, in the sense they say that they're going to come tomorrow, but then they don't turn up. So you would have committed for so many people that we're going to have a work tomorrow, but then if one person doesn't turn up, then the entire work slot has to be altered. So that was one of the big challenge.
All the raw materials required for construction was procured within a range of 25 to 30 km, including mud, stone, coconut wood and terracotta tiles. All the treatment and processing was done on site itself. This was helpful in reducing the money. The total expense until now is rupees 11.5 lakhs. The remaining works are electrical, plumbing, flooring and plastering second coat. He hopes to complete the house in a total cost of 16.5 lakhs.
We started this construction around 2.5 years back, and we will still need a couple of more months to finish. Yeah, so I think it'll take 3 years for me to complete. Wait a second. Don't draw any conclusion to it. I know 3 years is quite a bit time, but I must also tell you that I was mostly doing construction over the weekend, because I have a day job back in Bangalore. So throughout my work week, I stay in Bangalore, and only during the weekend I get some time to travel and work on the construction. The cost, based on what we have spent and by estimating whatever the leftover construction, we are estimating that the cost would reach up to 900 to 950 rupees per square feet. We are planning for one more integrated cob house in the same time. This house will consist of labor quarters, cow shed, and one studio bedroom.
He has done this by being on the site entirely on his holidays and weekends while continuing his IT job.
Well, yes, we did try to engage an engineer. We consulted, we shared their idea, because by then we know that we wanted to build a mud house. So I took up that idea to an engineer, and I was telling what are my needs. And then initially, I think they thought that I was crazy. They were not sure, and they thought that I was not serious also. Because in an urban city like Bangalore, if somebody comes and says, "Oh, I'll build a mud house," then I don't think people will take me seriously. But then I gave some more time for another, meet, and then he said that I need some time to work on that. But in the second meet also, the design has not changed much. There was no synergy between me and my engineer, or rather the engineer that I was trying to engage. Then I decided that instead of waiting, searching for more engineers, it's better off I only start myself. So that was my experience with the engineer that I was trying to engage.
If you are not able to give your entire time for shelter making, you can still work part-time during weekends and holidays on the house. To make a mud home, you may not find trained professionals like architects, contractors, engineers, artisans, or even carpenter in a city or a village. In such cases, it is nice that you can train by yourself and study by yourself and teach others. This is a very traditional and simple roof method of using coconut wood for the structure and using terracotta tile as the roofing material. The roof design above the living room has been a challenge due to the octagonal shape, but Umaji has solved it very amazingly by working together with the carpenter. When an owner takes charge of the work to this level, and involve himself, many challenges can be solved. This is the attitude required for everyone who is building a mud home. The process may be little slow, but you can surely build a home free of toxic materials for yourself in a very cost-effective method.